What's going on, you gamers? Today I'm going to be going over a few more hints and tips for Diablo 2 Resurrected. Today we're going to be going over loot rarity, so if you want to know what's worth picking up, the good, the bad and the ugly, then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back, you guys and girls. As always, Full Things Gaming, Full Things Xbox, and why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. I'll bring you the latest and greatest in content, hints, tips, guides and builds, and just some fun gameplay and reviews of the upcoming games. But for today, as a returning player to Diablo, I thought this may well help out a lot of other players that are like myself and haven't played Diablo 2 for an awful long time. Now obviously this is a remaster, so it's pretty much exactly the same with a graphical overhaul, but a lot of you out there are either new to the game or haven't played it for many years, because the game is nigh on 20 years old now. So if you're a veteran, you will definitely not need to see this video. If you're not 100% sure on loot rarity, then it may well be worth your time. So the first loot rarity we're going to go over is this one right here, the white loot rarity, or the normal loot. Pretty much the bog standard you're gonna leave on the floor, not worth much at all. Sometimes you can get a little bit of gold for them, but in general you're not going to be able to do much with these unless your item or gear is completely broken. You're probably going to leave these where they lie, like I said, unless you need a little bit of gold early on. And I believe there's one quest later on in Act 5 that lets you socket them. So you may want to keep one, but to be perfectly honest, you're probably going to be doing that late game rather than early game. I wouldn't worry about it too much. White items, bottom of the barrel, don't worry about them. Most times you're going to leave them on the floor. Next up, and we've got the grey. I think this is probably the rarity that will confuse people the most, as you'd probably think this was the lowest, so you'd think it's probably grey and then white. However, grey in this game can actually be really good, and I would say if possible, when you can, probably try to pick them up. Grey basically means they're normal standard items, but this time they're coming with sockets. Obviously some items can have one socket, some items you may be lucky enough to get all the way up to 6, I believe is max. Now you may well be thinking, that's great, but if I look at this right here, the short warbow, it has 6 to 14 damage, requires 35 strength, bit of dexterity, and does a whole bunch of nothing. You would be correct, except for the fact because it has those sockets, you can chuck things in them, and the main thing you're going to want to put in them is the rune words. Now I'm not going to go into rune words too much today because I'm going to be doing a few other videos on those and some great ones that you can use, but in general you're going to want to pick things like this up. As you can see, Tail rune right there, or this one right here, the Rail rune, and they're going to create words. Words that you can chuck over into here and will give you some absolutely amazing bonuses. These can create an absolute beast of a weapon. That's something beforehand you probably would have just left completely on the floor, as you'd think it's just trash. Pick a few of them up, especially if they've got a lot of sockets. It really can help, and it really can mean you have a lot of fun with the game, creating rune words and making your build how you want it. Next up, we're going to be going over the blue rarity, or the magic items. As you can see right here, the text is blue, meaning that it's classed as magic rarity. These items can actually be quite nice, especially if they roll with sockets and such. However, they're probably a bit of a stepping stone. These items can be really nice, especially early on game, if you find one such as I did just up here, which rolled with 2 sockets, meaning that I could put some really nice stuff into it. Also, it rolled with a nice bit of defense. Don't turn your nose up at these early game, blue items can really help you out. Most of the time they're not going to have the stats and such that you need when compared with some of the higher ones that we're going to go over in a minute, but they definitely can be equipped, and sometimes with the right sockets and such can even work out a little bit better than some of the yellow items if they're badly rolled. And speaking of yellow items, just over here, Eagle Tower Bone Shield. Now as you can see, the text on that is yellow. These right here can just give you amazing stuff to your build. They really can. As you can see on the right here, this one comes with plus 15 to attack rating, plus 22 enhanced defense, plus 5 to strength, all resistances plus 12, damage reduced by 12, and plus 1 to light radius. and with the right rolls can be absolutely amazing. These are the ones you want to look out for, especially if you get them in class specific. If they roll class specific, you are absolutely living the dream and they can really help your build out. For example, this one just up here is a class specific druid only one. Anytime you find these, even with the other rarities as well, anytime you can, if they have on things such as +1, +2, +3 to your class builds, so as you can see here, +3 to tornado on druid only, +2 to rabies on druid only. With the right rolls, those two kind of go against each other, but still they're really good, and they're probably some of the most sought after things in the game. Anytime you can, look out for things such as this on your items. They really can help early, late, endgame, plus to your class. Pick them up, it's really going to work in your favour. Next up, and we're going to be going over the green items, or the gear sets. So as you can see here, I've got the Hussarus Iron Heel Chain Boots. This comes with 20% faster run or walk and fire resist plus 25%. Now you may be thinking that's absolutely awful, especially if you've come from say Diablo 3 and you're looking at this like it's a little bit underwhelming, but what you have to realise is they start to get an additional stat when you get other gear set items. So for example with this one, as you can see, it hasn't got much to it. However, if I chuck on its second one just over here, now because I've put that on, if I go back to the primary one, it's now going to say plus 390 to attack rating based on the character level, and attacker takes damage of 5. These gear sets can actually be really good. The right ones can work on your character and can make them really powerful. Also, some of them have some really nice stats on them and additional ones that come about when you get more to the set. So again, if I go over to the belt, as you can see, this one now has plus 97 defense based on character level, whereas before that wouldn't have had it if I just had one piece. In general, the more you have on a gear set, the better it is going to work for you, and these can make for some absolutely amazing builds. Now last but definitely not least, and I'm going to be going over the gold worded items. So if you see one of these on the floor, make sure you pick it up. These are the unique items. This one right here is the Dark Clan Crusher Cudgel. It is absolutely amazing, and these are some of the best things you can find in the game. As long as you find the right one for your class that works towards what you're going for, these can really be amazing. So this one right here has +2 to druid skill levels, plus 195% enhanced damage, 25% bonus to attack rating, 200% damage to demons, and 200 to attack rating against demons. It also has plus 15 life after each demon kill, and plus 50% damage to undead. So as you can see, it does a lot of stuff, an absolute abundance of stuff, and like I said, this one gives you the +2 to druid skills for my class. Really amazing. This, even if I'm not going to use it to hit people with, I'm going to want to make sure I'm picking up them gold items, because these have some of the best stats in the game, and also some of them do some really fun stuff. Pick them up because you're going to know exactly what you're getting with these. These do not have random stats, they're always kind of set in stone, and they can really mean you have a build to aim towards, or aim towards finding one of these in general. Obviously it's down to RNG if you're going to find them, but you're definitely going to want to pick these up each and every time, as they can make for some really strong character builds. And some of them are the strongest items you can get in the game. Well, you gamers, there's one more thing to note that I completely forgot about, and I must have actually just completely got rid of it or sold it, and that's ethereal items. Some of those items can drop with ethereal written on them. That's quite rare, but when it does, it means the stats are going to be boosted on the item. However, they cannot be repaired. If they've got a self-repair in them, they can be quite good, but if they do break, you're in trouble, so they're kind of a dual-edged sword. But as always, guys and girls, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, and a lot more Diablo tips on the way, hit that subscribe bell. But for now, take care. I'll see you on the next day.